everybody, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Paul.
And welcome back to the Fan Voice. So welcome back to another Smash Chat. We haven't done kind of a tournament result Smash Chat in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we'd come back and do one of these.
We just got finished up with CEO.
Yeah, so CEO was this weekend in Florida, or this past weekend, excuse me. And it was a pretty good tournament from everything I could see.
Yeah.
They had their own room specifically for Smash. Supposedly it was absolutely packed the whole weekend.
Yeah.
There were 500 people registered for Melee. It was insane. So yeah, but I mean, other than, well, actually, the amazing thing is even with that many people and with only one room, supposedly the tournament ran super smooth. So
that's something to be proud of. At all.
Yeah,
for
right.
Any tournament.
Shoutouts.
You don't hear that too often.
Shoutouts to the man himself, Alex Jabali, who organizes all of CEO. He obviously loves the Smash community a lot, and so he put in a lot of work for this, and it turned out really awesome. It was really, really great to see. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna, and we're just talking about the Smash side. We may, we may do something else about the other side, but we're not really watching a lot of other fighting games at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're basically really into Smash.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna talk about Smash right now for this one, obviously since it's a Smash chat.
Right.
But let's talk. I guess first let's just talk very briefly about Smash 4. So coming into this tournament, I have been watching a little more Smash 4 than I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
And also playing a little bit Smash 4.
Smash
4 than we usually do.
We kind of flipped out once Ryu came out, so it reinvigorated us.
Yeah.
I want to say, now that I'm seeing this, it's such a brilliant marketing strategy with these downloaded characters because it's keeping the hype going,
Yeah, no,
even for the casual players and stuff.
Yeah, it's very true, and I've been having a lot of fun. I honestly had a lot more fun when we had some friends over this past weekend, when we were playing Smash 4 than when we were playing Melee.
Really?
I was actually having a lot more fun in Smash 4, just because I felt like it was new, and people were trying new characters, and it was flowing really well, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, I was having a blast with both.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so am I. I mean, it's not like I'm hating Melee. I'm just saying I had a lot of fun with Smash 4 because I wasn't expecting that.
I think I'll need to take a little break from Smash 4 because I've been going so hard on those challenges, and those are just stupid.
Yeah, I don't really blame you.
But I mean, that is the cool thing, I still am having a lot of fun with Smash 4, and at this point, I think it has already surpassed Brawl's lifespan of my entertainment.
Yeah.
And I go through and it's man, there's so many characters I want to play for every verse session we do and stuff. And there's cool creative things to find here and there. And
right. Yeah.
We're obviously with the top players as well. We're seeing new things. This was incredibly I didn't watch anything in between this in Apex, and this was so much more refreshing in my opinion.
Yeah.
We kind of left Apex with a sour note in our mouth with a few entertaining matches, but for the most part, the last thing I said I think was right now it's a pretty even battle between campiness and aggressiveness.
Yeah.
But this time around, it looks like aggressiveness is starting to take over a little bit.
Yeah, it is, because, and that's the thing that's surprised me over the past couple months is, we've seen a lot of tournaments that have been customs on and customs off, and I've seen the tournaments with customs on, and I'm actually seeing it to be more of the same, but with new characters. So you see a lot more Villager being campy, a lot more other characters being campy, and then you see a lot more other characters being aggressive, but it's generally the same thing, it's just different characters, sort of. And I feel like this, the vanilla Smash 4 is starting to evolve to a point where we're not kind of seeing that a lot.
Yeah.
Sheik is much more aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Much more aggressive. And people are starting to play Sheik because Diddy Kong's not as good.
Right.
And at the same time, you're seeing a lot of Zero Suit Samus, who's pretty aggressive as well, and has really interesting combos and setups.
Yeah.
And then you're also seeing other characters like Captain Falcon and Pikachu with Esam with Pikachu, and even Fox and Luigi. And I mean, those characters are so interesting. I'm talking about Larry Lur there because I think he was the only Luigi, but Luigi is really good in this game.
Yeah, oh yeah. They've showed off some cool stuff for Luigi pretty early on after the game came out.
I feel like
there's still fun things about him.
Yeah, and I feel like most people just didn't pick up on that at first. But yeah, there's definitely some really cool stuff with Luigi going on. But yeah, I mean, just really quickly, the top 8, like anybody's surprised. First place was Zero.
Well, after seeing Nero perform, I'm a little surprised. Nero was really good.
Yeah, Nairo he is really good.
Yeah.
I think he is the person that could take it over Zero.
Oh yeah,
the most right now.
I mean, it wasn't like some lucky struggle for Nero. He was pushing Zero to his limit, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, yeah. So, Nairo really has me interested. He also plays Dark Pit, which also interests me.
Mm-hmm.
To be truthful, because I kind of like the character, and also his Dark Pit is really good, and it's really cool. And then Dabuz was third with Rosalina. Rosalina's still a little campy, but Dabuz is starting less and less to use just like the campy, I'm going to jump around and absorb projectiles sort of thing, to actually using Luma and being a little more liberal with it. As a little bit more, not only just as the sponge, but like actually attempting to like hit back and forth and do some stuff like that. And that's more interesting to me. Because it just, before, like, just kind of kept Luma close and did the gravitational thing. That was it.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, this playstyle is a little bit more interesting because he's using Luma a little bit more for some tricks, which is the whole point to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But he is still definitely a defensive player, so a lot of people give him crap. And I get it. I totally get it. Because he is definitely still defensive, but it's just a little bit of a difference in play from Apex to this, in my opinion.
Right.
Then after that, in fourth is Larry Lur. Of course, I really like his Fox a lot, but he got a lot more mileage out of Luigi and Sheik this tournament. But those characters, Fox and Luigi, are really interesting. And they were interesting to see in top 8. I wish Fox was a little bit better on the ground, but he has really cool things going on, and I'd like to see more of him, but I don't know if we will. And then MVD and ESAM tied for 5th. MVD, Diddy Kong, Duck Hunt, and Captain Falcon. I didn't get a chance to see him play Duck Hunt. I don't know when that was, but was that in top 8? I'm not actually sure. I just saw him play.
Was MVD the Duck Hunt in Apex as well? Top 8?
Possibly. I want to say yes. Yeah.
I don't remember liking his style too much.
yeah. I don't blame you. Duck Hunt does that to people.
Yeah.
And then ESAM, I love watching ESAM. I still have not seen the match with Samus. We should have looked that up before we did this. Apparently he plays a match with Samus, who is generally regarded in Smash 4, I guess, as not being so good. And apparently he did really well. Broke him out. Great. So I want to see his Samus.
And his Pikachu was something else.
His Pikachu is really cool. It's awesome. And his customs Pikachu is absolutely insane, too. So, shoutouts to ESAM, because I love watching him. And then tied for 7th is Shaky and Nick Riddle. Shaky played Ness. I think he was the reason people were cheering for Ness so much, but I'm not sure. Because people were cheering Ness after every single match, and I don't
get it.
Understand why.
We were gonna say that it's Orlando's chicken fingers.
That's might be what it is. Yeah. And then Nick Riddle played Zersu Samus like he normally does, and we just saw an insane combo with him off the side with them doing that. Anyway, so
all around everything felt a little faster and a little more technical, I would say.
And I also want to, like you pointed out before, I also want to point out that the commentary this tournament was a lot better.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the thing that has always bothered me, is that commentary for Smash 4 is, oh my god, wasn't that insane, when it's like one hit.
Yeah, it seems like totally like, hype directed, like, are you guys even watching the screen, or are
Right.
you just like yelling kind of thing?
Exactly. So this tournament, I didn't see a lot of that, and instead I saw a lot of people getting really technical about it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely, because I think that's one thing that really put like a sour note in the Smash 4 community to me, was just like, along with just the imprecise commentary or very vague hype commentary, like, even when people are arguing between Smash 4 and Melee, all I would ever hear is them saying, "Oh, Melee's old. They just need to get over it," or Smash 4 just has more stuff.
Right.
Which isn't a valid argument to me. Like, even back then, I would say Smash 4 has some valid stuff to it, but I hear nobody talking about the mechanics of the game.
Right,
And
yeah.
we need to start hearing a lot more of that, because that will validate Smash 4 a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like we're going in that direction, so
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that.
We watched a match with Nick Riddle and Larry
And
Parker.
an actually excited D1 this time.
Yeah, no, seriously. And D1 was actually, like, hype, and it was really interesting, and they were explaining, like, the matchup between Luigi throwing the fireballs and ZSS doing the perfect spacing of jumping over them and doing the nair.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to, like, get in and trying to make his own pressure, even though Luigi obviously has the ground.
Yeah.
Pretty much covered completely.
Right.
Why are we not talking about that every round?
Absolutely.
And, like, this, I don't know, this commentary was much, much better. I just feel like it's been getting slowly better and better.
Yeah. And that's the thing we also need to realize, is that, like, Smash 4 is so new. I know that, like, the community as a whole, since Melee, has been a lot more focused on competitive right away.
Right, yeah.
Kind of thing. But at the same time, it's still a different game, and it's still really new, and we need to give it time to grow, which is, like, another reason why it was so refreshing seeing another big tournament with no customs. You know, we got this, like, talk about, like, customs with Evo and stuff, but I still say it's too soon. Like, with early Apex, they're trying to reach the hype of Melee with it being completely new.
Right.
And now, upcoming Evo, they're throwing customs in, which, like, makes the quantity of, like, stuff to deal with in the new game, like, 3-4 times more, but they're still trying to make it, like, what am I trying to say? Like, the competitors are still trying to be as, like, exciting or in depth as Melee is now. But no, you need to give the competitors time to grow in the sport, and this is a great example of how they've grown from Apex.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I 100% agree with you, and I thought it was an odd decision that CEO decided to say no customs. But now that I've seen that, I'm really glad that they didn't.
Absolutely.
Because now I see that this is where the game is going, and it makes it really interesting.
Yeah.
And now I've also seen customs on. I'll bet it's not with this level of players. The tournaments that I've seen with custom ons, they might have one or two of these players at it, but not all these players.
Yeah.
These are the best Smash 4 players in the world.
Right.
Right? Like, right now.
Yeah.
With the exception of Japan. But these guys are the best in the U.S.
Right.
And the best people playing in the U.S. at least. And, yeah, I mean, Evo is just going to be weird now, because now I really find this entertaining, and now I'm going to have to go watch customs, and I've already seen some absolutely BS customs play, and I don't know if I trust the community. I mean, why... Okay, I can't believe we're going to get into this, but why? This is what I began to realize about customs, is why we didn't, when we first started with Melee, why we didn't decide what items were going to be legal is because we went, no, we can't make that decision. Because some of these items are going to be abused and some of the other ones aren't, and nobody's going to agree. So let's just agree right now to never play with items. Because that makes it easier. You don't have to pick and choose.
Right.
And then on stages, we can pick and choose. We can focus on that.
Yeah.
Because there's no other... We can't just leave it Battlefield and Final Destination. Like, let's expand some stages.
Yeah,
and then we got starters and everything else. But it was
that's a great point, because, like, you think of, like, items with Melee, it's kind of the same analogy. This the amount of stuff to deal with within the community to make a regular a good solid really focused on judgment that has gone through a lot of experimentation and stuff. There's no time for that. It's gonna be a total clusterfuck, you know?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, they decided on customs a couple months ago. No, not even that, maybe 2 months ago or something. I don't know. But they decided on customs or whatever, and I was looking at it and I was like, how'd you decide on these? And who did?
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned it wasn't like all top players, it was basically Smash boards. And I'm like, well, that's understandable because that's what they've made decisions in the past. But now you're dealing with a much bigger community and you're at EVO.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of weird to be like, oh no, customs aren't like items at all. They're different. Here's a list that's legal. And I'm like, I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, I don't know if I like it.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
I mean, it just stunts the growth of the game as of now, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, I'll admit I definitely underestimated the roof of Smash 4, and this tournament has shown me that its potential still has a ways to go, and you don't.
I think especially with the balance patches.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
The balance patches are doing a lot for this, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And making things a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Because now we've seen Zero and several other people switch to Sheik.
And no ditties.
Yeah, and hardly any ditties.
Yeah.
Sheik's next, probably.
Yep. She'll be the next nerf.
Yeah.
Followed by Zero Suit.
So.
Who the heck else knows?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
if people complain enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so that was Smash 4. Really interesting. I am still looking forward to EVO.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I will watch it. I will watch all of EVO. That's my plan.
I'm just gonna be pissed if one of these top players gets knocked out by some exploit.
Yeah, and it could definitely happen.
Yeah.
We'll see, but
yeah.
All right, let's talk about Melee. Yeah.